Well, I've been saying for a while, BT, it was a matter of time before I felt Jet fans got a dose of reality with a team that wasn't good. That dose of reality came last night.
It's an absolutely disgraceful performance from every single perspective. The head coach, he doesn't coach this guy. He stares into space. So I'll get to Saleh after, and I'll get to Hackett after. Who was atrocious, by the way. Let me just spare you the guessing game. Hackett stinks. The Jets have to sit down Zach Wilson. They got to sit him down, man. And if I'm saying that, then you know it's time to sit down Zach Wilson. See, I mean, the coach owes it to the team to give the team a chance to score some points. I don't know how many times. Listen, I sit there and I watch Zach Wilson, right? Boom. This is pretty basic quarterback stuff. Hike, look, throw. All he does is hold the ball. And I don't get it. And I'm done defending him. And by the way, I can bore you with other reasons. Yes, nobody's open. Allen Lazard is a scrub. Lazard is useless. Useless. The offensive line. Turnstiles. I can't defend him anymore, though. I can't defend Zach. I'm not going to try. The season is still salvageable, all right? It is time for this team to treat him like a grown man. Stop holding his hand. You got to take the training wheels off. You have to try to win. And you cannot win when you cannot score. Zach's got to sit, dude. I'm tired of it. There's plays that are there to be made. There are yards to be had. He's even afraid to run. He had a 20-yard run. He flips it to Dalvin Cook. You get Dalvin Cook's done as well. You know the play I'm talking about. Gets 3 yards. He actually had a chance to run. He is not playing. He's not flowing. He's not vibing. He's doing nothing. He is so mechanical. They have coached out any remnants of ball that this kid had. So the only chance that they have, in my opinion, right now, is obviously try to piece this thing together, before Rodgers comes back, if he does. But at this point, it might not matter. Like, if you go into Vegas next week with Zach Wilson, you're not going to score again. You're not. I mean, the Chargers' pass defense is beyond broken, and they couldn't score a touchdown. He is not the only one to blame, but you can't take 6 guys and bench them. So you got to start with the position whose chief responsibility it is to get your team in the end zone. And if they don't think Timmy Boyle's the guy, then Trevor Simeon's got to play. And if they don't think Trevor Simeon's the guy, then Timmy Boyle's got to play. But you can't keep running this junk out there. The head coach, all right? The head coach has to do something that I don't think he's very good at, and that is making a franchise-altering decision, all right? And he messed it up last year with Mike White, and he allowed a little mutiny in the locker room and division. Enough with the excuses. I watched the entire post-game press conference. Well, it wasn't his worst game. Fine. It doesn't matter. It's not good enough. Sit him.
Yeah, but
sit him.
Did we see Dan Orlovsky break down the film yet?
Listen, we did. I watched it, and Dan's not wrong. I know what he's saying. Dan,
did he say it again?
Well, kind of. Dan's like me.
He said it again? That Zach played well last night?
He didn't say he played well. No, he didn't say he played well. It wasn't quite like the Giants game. But again, I understand. I told you, as listeners, as sports fans, there's going to be an expiration point where not throwing interceptions is not good enough. It's not going to cut it, all right? You must score points.
What's the name of the show that they do? You know, the good one, the digital show that they have, the Jets that they do. What's the name of that?
One Jets Drive.
Yeah, exactly. That's what their season has been. One Jets Drive against Kansas City, and everybody thought that this team was going to take off because of one Jets Drive. If you look at the whole, BT, and now you're seeing it a little more clearly, their offense stinks, and they don't score touchdowns. I've been saying it for weeks. Everybody's saying I'm a Jets hater. I'm not. I hate that this happened. The reality is they don't score touchdowns. You cannot win like that. They were lucky to beat the Giants. They should have lost the game where they gave up -9 passing yards. But they won the game, and it was really covered up what a bigger issue is. They can't move the football. And what's a shame about it is the defense is nasty, and it's getting better.
It's so good.
And better and better every week.
It's amazing. Amazing, the defense.
Even down, whatever it was, 17-6 yesterday. I'm like, this team's, they could still win this game because the defense, the Chargers can't move the ball.
Yeah, that's Herbert, too. And that's Keenan Allen, who made a sick catch, and that was a big grab. Now, the defense, they gave up 3 straight third down conversions, which hurt them. But, I mean, I completely exonerate this unit. This defense is amazing. It is fast. It is aggressive. I mean, they are just studs. And this season, last night changes everything. Instead of being 5-3 and jumping in front of the Bills and really thinking division, now you got to hold on with the fraying thread. And I can't hold on to the season anymore with Zach. Again, I will tell you this. I don't believe it's all his fault, but that's not the point anymore. You've got to run out there like, and you've said this a few times. One of the things, and it didn't bother me that much, but now it bothers me. Like Zach, he is just, he doesn't project any energy. Like there's no dog in him.
He's not in control.
You got to yell. You got to throw something. You got to curse. You've got to show something. And he's a good kid.
Right.
Not about that. I love Zach. He seems like a wonderful young man. He doesn't score points. And I'm done with the excuses. Listen, there is context here. Garrett Wilson, fumble. Breece Hall, fumble.
Lazard,
offensive line stinks. Lazard is honestly, Lazard is a complete waste.
Well, you could thank Aaron Rodgers for that.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, he always had kind of iffy hands here, but, man, he has been awful. Robert Saleh, you cannot keep going to the well otherwise you will lose your job. You must walk in today, and you must tell this team, you must look the defense in the eyes and say, guys, I don't know if this is going to make any difference, but we're changing something. You deserve better. The fans deserve better. The organization deserves better. Zach Wilson must, I hate that I'm saying this, got to sit him.
Yeah.
Gotta sit him, man.
Well, like you said, the problem is that they should have seen this weeks ago when we talked about them getting a better backup in here, even if it was just trading for Dobbs. We talked about bringing Matt Ryan out of the booth. Any of these options to have a capable backup, I mean, they went with Trevor Siemian, dude, which basically said it's Zach Wilson's show, and their offense is historically inept.
It's pathetic, dude.
The defense is sick.
Yep.
And the offense, cannot do – even if they scored a touchdown, it will be better than no touchdown.
Well, they had one. Of course, it was dropped at the end. Garbage point. They can't even catch wide open. They can't even catch wide open garbage time touchdowns.
They attached their wagon again to Zach Wilson. Again.
I know.
And the same thing is about to happen that happened last year.
Well, do they think, and this one's for Hackett here, does Hackett think that this is a bunch of 9 and 10-year-olds where the best running back on the field, you just give him the ball and he just makes everybody miss because he's that superior of an athlete? It's not going to work just giving Breece Hall the ball. Like, the Jets offense is so incredibly and alarmingly antiquated. It is gross. Here's the plan. Give it to Breece. Hope he makes somebody miss. Try to throw it to Garrett. Hope he shakes somebody, brings it to the house like the 70-yarder in Dallas. Ain't good enough. Just not good enough.
BT and Sal on the
fan. And there's still a season to salvage. There is. Like, if there was no season, listen, if you get 17 points, you tell me you're not going to smoke Aiden O'Connell? They're going to eat him for lunch. I don't care what Pierce did in his first game. The Jets defense is going to crush that Raiders offense. You must score 17, 20 points. Give the ball to Siemian. Give it to Timmy Boyle. You just owe it to everybody in the building to change it up.
BT and Sal on the Fan, our friends at Town Fair Tire, remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Anthony is in Deer Park. Anthony?
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, Ant?
I was at the game last night, and it was a third and short, an easy play, wide open. Garrett Wilson and Zach Wilson wasn't even looking at him. It was disgusting. Wasn't even looking at him.
I'm with BT. This is not just a Zach Wilson thing here, but he is the quarterback of one of the worst offenses that we've seen. So something's got to change. Now, to me, it's too late. Not that the season, and thank you for the call, Anthony, not that the season can't be salvaged. The deadline is come and gone. Yep. The opportunity to make a move after Rodgers went down 4 plays in is come and gone. Like, what are they doing?
Right, they're doing nothing. They just keep running the same stuff out there. And, there are so many layers to this loss because it was such a damaging defeat. But I got to tell you, I mean, today requires absolute unflinching leadership. And I don't think Robert Saleh has it. I'm just going to tell you right now. I don't think he's got it. He's not that guy. He's just not. Does he, I'm not even trying to be cute, or I'm certainly not trying to be disrespectful. Does he coach?
Doesn't look like
What
it.
does he do on game day? What does he do?
He runs the stairs.
This is what he does.
He runs the BT is standing up, posing with his arms crossed right now, for those of you who don't know. You actually look like Saleh.
And I do look like him. So
yeah.
What does he do? I never not once, have I seen him walk over to Zach Wilson, get in his grill. Hell, even if you try to coach him up, pat him on the ass, hit him on the pads. Let's go, young man. Not good enough. Let's go. We got you back. Come on. Nothing. He does nothing.
You know what I think? BT?
Zero.
And this is not a joke. I actually don't think he understands. I'm trying to
Understands coaching?
No, understands
offense.
Yes. I really think he's sitting there being, in his mind, you could almost read his mind saying, what the hell are we doing here? I got my defense playing their ass off. Our defense is a bunch of beasts. We're nasty as can be out there, flying around, hitting people, ferocious, attacking the ball. And the offense isn't doing anything, and he doesn't have an answer.
I don't need him to be Bill Walsh and come up and reinvent the offensive wheel. But can you at least show an ounce of outward leadership on game day? He shows me nothing.
Yeah. Tom is calling from Maryland. Tom?
Good morning, guys. Good
morning, Tom.
Hey, bud. How are you, buddy?
Hey, I don't know. I'm gonna try and get through this calmly, but you got to bear with me for a second. So, to BT's point, there is absolutely no discipline on his team. The narrative of Zach's not throwing interceptions, he's making good throws, sick of it. You've got two elite playmakers on the offensive side of the ball that they fail to game plan around. I can't watch Uzama and Lazard anymore. And you want to talk offensive line problems? Every single team in the NFL has them.
Yeah.
But you know what disciplined teams do? They adapt and they control what they can control. You know what Saleh is? Saleh is their buddy. He's not the head of the organization. The amount of undisciplined penalties is insane and inexcusable. They held an offense to -8 passing yards, and they miraculously won the game.
-9.
They should be 3-5. I mean, let's be fair. They got lucky. They won it. There's no way they deserve to win that game, and it covered up some stuff.
Sal, I completely agree. And then you know what they do? They hold an offense to under 200 yards, and they find a way to lose by 21 freaking points. This team, you can't make this up. You can't.
Listen, Tommy.
They just find a
no, you can.
every week.
Yeah, and thanks for the call. Listen, there's been many Jet teams, whether it's with Gase or sometimes with Bowles or at the end of the Rex. I mean, name any Jets coach, where there's been truly such an absence of talent that it's not even worth the energy. Like what I just admitted, and what many of you, whether you're texting your buddies or screaming,
God, going to that game last night.
Oh, I mean, however you compartmentalize one of the most frustrating losses in a while. However you do that, you did what you do, but it feels warranted, because to get mad at something that should not be better, or to be disenchanted with something that really has no business garnering that type of energy, is a colossal waste of time. The reason why I'm so frustrated, like if you're a horrendous golfer and you shoot a 108 and you break clubs and you're an idiot. What are you getting mad at? You stink.
Right,
Go take lessons.
Yeah, right.
Learn how to play. Now, if you're, a 5 handicap and you 4-jack the 18th hole and you lose a match, it's a little different because you have expectations. Like, I'm so bothered by this defeat last night, because this season on so many levels could be special. And they're holding his hand, and they are an organizational mess. And there's I only because it's the open of the show, I can only select so many things. Mm-hmm. I could go through Joe Douglas, I could chapter and verse. I can go through Robert Saleh, which I partially did. Hackett, obviously Zach Wilson,
right? Lazard,
the other ancillary pieces that right now don't seem that big. Like, the Jets could actually do something this year. And you know what? As much as I'm saying bench the kid, you know that they won't. They don't have the stones to bench him.
Well,
they don't have the guts to bench him.
But the reality is, benching him now is not going to do any good.
Nonsense.
BT, you don't have anybody else. That's the problem. They had a chance to get Dobbs, let's say, or go get a realistic, viable backup option, and they didn't. Trevor Siemian and Timmy Boyle.
Forget about Timmy.
They're not
Timmy's
it.
Timmy's a clipboard guy, baseball cap guy.
So Trevor Siemian, you think he's going to be better?
Hey, is he going to score a touchdown? Because if the answer to the question is yes, then yes, he'd be better.
Joe Douglas,
score a touchdown.
Your GM went all in to try to get Devontae Adams.
I understand that.
And he didn't understand that the problem is not, although the receivers haven't helped.
Oh, they stink.
That's not the problem.
He's missing the mark, but he also drafted him, so he's going to ride that to the bitter end.
Who do you think would have been more impactful acquisition? Devontae Adams at the deadline. Devontae Adams or Dobbs from the Cardinals?
Honestly, Devontae Adams. I know you disagree, but only because I think conceptually it would have changed so much how the opponents played defense that it would have opened up things for Breeze. I actually think it would. The answer to me is the receiver.
Yeah, and it's not to me because you're building again outside in. You gotta build inside out. Their line has been bad. Dobbs does things that can make up for that with his legs.
Yeah.
That dude on a crappy Arizona team made that team somewhat respectable by moving the football.
I know, without a single snap.
They beat the Cowboys. Well, right. Look what he did with Minnesota.
I know. I get it.
He can at least move the ball
Let me ask you a
offensively.
question.
And I'm not saying he's the answer.
I know
but
what you're
there
saying.
were other moves to be made when we all knew, and that's why I say Jeff Van's delusional. You could ignore it and hope in Zach, and I get it. That's what you have to do as a fan. But if you're watching this unbiasedly, you knew he wasn't it. At some point, this was going to happen. It was inevitable, and they needed to be in a position to switch to bench Zach, go with the backup quarterback, and have this team ready to go to the postseason with that sick defense. And they didn't. They empty-handed because Trevor Siemian was their one move.
I still don't think it's delusional because I don't want to get too wrapped up in that word today. But I think if we were sitting here expecting, if the Jets defense was porous.
That's a different story.
Yeah, and we're sitting here saying, come on, Zach, you got to win shootouts. That's delusional.
But, dude,
I don't think it's delusional to expect 17 points from an NFL quarterback who's in year 3, who's got some dynamic weapons and has talent himself. That's not delusional.
It is when you haven't seen it.
Well, yeah, if you want to look at it that way, fine.
Their offense has sucked all year. We went over this weeks ago by every metric. Third down, red zone, statistically, he's not as bad as he once was. Yeah, well, he was literally the worst quarterback in football for 2 years.
So you don't think Trevor Siemian could be marginally better? Listen, here's the thing. Not that Trevor Siemian's going to lead them anywhere incredible, but if he can stabilize this thing, make sure you get the win against. To me, this is why last night.
I also think it's more Hackett than even Zach.
Hackett stinks. Hackett without Rodgers is absolutely worthless. But I think that the Jets right now, every win that they bag gives, as much as you want to laugh, gives Aaron Rodgers a chance to come back and play. And you must beat the Raiders, and we'll get to that later in the week. But I don't know if you're going to beat the Raiders with Zach Wilson. I am prepared to try something else. And for me to say that, it's time. It's
saying
time.
A lot. Nobody's been a bigger supporter. I would even throw Joe Douglas in there. I don't think anybody's backed publicly Zach Wilson as much as you have. And now you've come to the realization that it's time for a change. I don't think they're going to do it. I'm not saying
think they have the guts to do it?
No, I don't.
Me neither.
They should have made a move earlier in the season to fix this. All right, we'll continue with your calls on the side. Remember, too, big Yankee day today as we have both Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner are going to meet the media. That coming up at 12 o'clock. We will carry it in its entirety here. So we'll have some Yankee info. We've been waiting for Cashman to speak for a while.
Listen, I'm already in a bad mood. I better hear some things that I like from those guys. Otherwise, I don't know what the hell's going to happen here today. So I can't wait to hear what they have to say.
We'll have that both with Hal and Cashman coming up at noon. But your calls on the Jets on the other side. BT and Saleh on the Fan.